IQDcalls.com has been asked to get out the alleged 800 #S for banks exchanging, which we will post on our banks page if we get them. But our sources have said, any day now, for years. So don't put your life on hold. IQDcalls.com does not necessarily agree, disagree, or endorse the contents of the calls and videos posted on our site. Take it all with a grain of salt and only purchase what you can afford to lose. IQDcalls.com assumes no responsibility for information on the calls and disclaims all liability in respect of such information. We are only a guide for the dinar scheduled and recorded calls. Now from Bruce on the Big Call. Welcome everybody to the Big Call team. Even though it has been relatively quiet for a lot of people, what we have received has been very good for us. I will just say it this way. We did hear Iraq put their budget, which was passed in the Gazette yesterday. I do not know if everything they have done has been released to the world yet, which is fine. At this point it is a moot point. We are not waiting on Iraq for anything. Thank goodness. Guess what? For them to have a budget and to have it passed, they had to have a new rate, which they do. I know the rate which are on the screens at the banks now. I know the rate for the dong now. I know the rate for the zim on the screens now. I mean, this is happening. The rates are there. They are live. They are pulsing at the regular intervals, making the changes relatively every 18 minutes. That is normal. That is what is normally happening as rates fluctuate. Iraq is done. The president gave a stellar State of the Union address on Tuesday night. He did not mention anything specific about the gold-backed currency we now have live, the USTN, the United States Treasury note. My understanding was today that Stephen Mnuchin, Secretary of the Treasury, left today to go to China to help finalize things regarding our world currencies and also the trade talks that President Trump alluded to Tuesday night. I believe they are far enough along to be brought out as concluded fairly soon. I believe our USTN may not be announced until after we begin our exchanges. In fact, it may not come out until after the public or Tier 5 starts. I do not know. I know the currency is printed. It is in the banks. It is in the redemption centers. I think by the time we go and get some, because we can get up to $14,000 in cash that is with the new USDNs, I believe. Of course we know about it, which won't be a shock to us, but the rest of the world will need to be told when they go to the banks and get money or get out of the ATM. Iraq is ready. They are all set with their ATMs. We are set out of our ATMs with us stunts. So it won't be longer before they are loaded in and people are able to get those. Now the other things we are getting regarding exchanges. We told you Tuesday, I believe the military already did huge numbers of members of the military and recently discharged ones at 18 military installations in the US and 22 to 26 military installations around the globe. They got in, they got it done, and they are complete. Then everything was like, we are next, right? Well, we are and we are not. They did further exchanges for so-called private individuals, which have been exchanging since Tuesday night, the night of the last call. They've been doing exchanges around the clock. There have been exchanges done recently as yesterday in a number of cities in the United States and Hong Kong. These exchanges were done with so-called privates. My understanding was they did set themselves up for immediate liquidity. We know people have done exchanges, for example, a month ago. They were done through Wells Fargo, as a matter of fact. We know this morning they were able to see funds in their accounts this morning. Yes, the day Wells Fargo essentially for most of this country was down. It was down with updating, and they were not hacked into, but they were being updated and placed in final preparation on the quantum financial system. They were being completely connected to the quantum financial system. It led a lot of people not able to access their accounts, including ATMs, but this did not affect credit card transactions for Wells Fargo. They had completed that a little after 6 p.m. EST. Everybody that I spoke to were able to access their accounts. So that took care of that. I believe they have moved in a position everyone is ready now, and a lot of the activity that has been a beehive in Reno is moving along very well at a very good pace. I believe we are looking for certain groups to be paid out and to have the liquidity they have been promised for so long. I think that after that we are finally at the go position. I know there are some adjudicated settlements, fines and penalties, groups that need to be taken care of. We also know the indication is that a lot of people will get a phone prompt to let them know deposits have been made into their accounts. They are taking care of them what it seems to been a long time for a lot of people. There has been traffic in and out of the West consistently for a little while now since Sunday, and I think that is a very good sign. Things are happening. By the way, congratulations again to China for their new year, which started on February 5th, Tuesday. That is a very good number for China, which is 5. Another number that is very good and possibly even better than the 5 is 8. Guess what it is already in China? Yes, it is February 8th. Guess what it will be here in United States at 12:01 am state. Yes, that is right. It will be the February 8th. Could that be a date of importance for us in Tier 4 Group B? It could be. I am hearing very good things about the possibility. We cannot call it, but we are going to suggest the possibility of this going on a very special day for China and for us. I am sure beyond that there is more I can tell you. I will tell you this much. There has been chatter about ZIM. Someone was ridiculous to put out that you can get rate for one note of ZIM and a different rate for the rest of your ZIM. Really? Are you at the point you are falling for that nonsense? Anybody please? That is another lie. Do not buy that. It is not true. You will get the same rate on all of your ZIM regardless of the denominations presented at one time. The front screen rate for the ZIM will be between 14 cents and 26 cents. Period. The back screen rate is a different subject. That is varying. That is going up. It went up slightly yesterday and may be continuing. I can't speak to it, but I can tell you it is going to be a great rate. If you qualify for a back screen rate, it is because you have fluidity in your presentation, knowledge of the humanitarian projects that you plan to do, and the fact that you are worthy of it. The fact you are talking about infrastructure. You are talking about job creation. You are talking about longevity, all of those issues, and you should be fine. If you don't have any humanitarian projects, then forget about the back screen rates. Do not even think about it. It does not apply to you. Many of you will partner with us in Rebuild America and Veterans Retreat Network. Many of you will partner with us, and I will let you know, and I have said this for a couple of years now, how that is going to happen. We will be in touch with you, and if you choose to be partner with us and volunteer, I would love to have you do that. As I have mentioned before, sitting on a pile of money and just watching the zeros go up in your account is going to get old pretty quick. Sitting on the beach kicking back with a Corona with a lime is going to get pretty old pretty quick. So you will want to make something work for you and last in terms of your legacy. Your legacy can be helping others, as Sue has, Bob has, Pastor Stephen has, like I have. I think you will enjoy that, and it will be the most meaningful part of your life that you have ever had. I am excited for us, guys. I am very excited for what is coming. It is going to be a huge shift after this happens. You guys are here as I have been, as Sue, Bob, Pastor Stephen have been here. We have been chosen to be here for a reason. You guys as listeners to the big call have been chosen to be listening for a reason. Take advantage of that and pray into that. If you have any doubts about what it is you are called to do, ask God to tell you, to give you an idea what you should do. You will find out and get that direct revelation. I am excited because everything is in position to go. We should be on our way shortly. Let's see what happens. Let's watch for it. I will be ever ready, prepared for it, of a call in which I will receive the toll-free numbers, and I will take that as an honor to be the representative for the Tier 4 Group B, the informed group, to let everybody know what it is that we can do in setting up our appointments and how to do it. Remember, you will call the number for the United States if you live here. Canada has its own number. Mexico has its own number. I should have all three of those numbers, and I will put those out. If you are outside of those areas, and you are in Australia, consider Ann's Bank or HSBC, which would be my first choice. Anywhere there is an HSBC bank, that should be your first choice. Okay? Internationally, what you will do when you call, you will get a call center. The call center will route you based on the currency that you have, not the amount, but the fact you have ZIM or you don't have ZIM. Then you will get routed by the call center directly to the redemption center that will handle your transaction in your zip code. Now if they cannot route you, they will give you a phone number to call to that redemption center. Remember, we have 1,896 banks that are Tier 1 banks ready to go. Plus over 7,000 redemption centers in North America. By that I mean Canada and the United States. You have plenty of availability. In most cases, unless you have been gifted ZIM, they know who you are. They know. So when you call, tell them that they will glom onto your cell phone, GPS, and give security to you as you go from your home to the redemption center and back home to provide the security, watch you and make sure nothing happens to you. That is good to know. I want to thank Pink Roses for doing a marvelous job for us in transcribing our calls so they can be read and even translated into other languages. We heard from Malcolm. Here is a shout out to Malcolm over in Singapore, a fairly new listener. It is good to have you. We appreciate the conversation is having or will be having with someone out of Australia. Thank you for our listeners in New Zealand, Brazil, South Africa, and all over the globe everywhere. Thank you to all the listeners out there. Thank you for listening so much and for being there for us in faith, for your prayers with us. Thank you Sue, Bob, and Pastor Stephen. Stay in tune, stay vigilant, and stay in faith. Goodbye. Disclaimer: Bruce calls, entertainment, rumors, comedy, hearsay and made-up tell. Check iqdcalls.com for updates. Commenting, reading and participating in our forums at the bottom of most our pages will give you insight on what the community thinks and some intel. We only censor inappropriate language and some links. Thanks for tuning in. iqdcalls.com